This is Omobola Stephen. I'm the host of Omobola Stephen. We like to focus extensively on topics on the personal development and self-improvement. We've come to realize with the passage of time the importance of personal development and self-improving ourselves on a daily basis. All of the innate gift sets, all of the potentials, the purpose that we are really in this world lies within us, but not till we begin to look inwards and ask for the questions that is needed to be asked. Not till we begin to take that step, that we begin to realize the importance of harnessing these gift sets and also these potentials within us by developing them and also self-improving ourselves. The importance of personal development is a lifelong process that we must embrace in order for us to really transform from where we are to where we need to be. Now, it's the continual process, but I guarantee you, if we don't give up, we will definitely achieve and also attain the fulfilling life that we are choosing to live on the side of eternity. Now, this is the focus of Library by Omobola Stephen. I have expert and professionals who are addicted to these topics, who share disruptive mindship conversations on topics and subjects under personal development and self-improvement. Today, I'll be talking about continuous improvement in the workplace and also talking about operational planning and also strategic planning. I have Peter Christian, who is the business executive and author and consultant with me on the show today. Hi, Peter. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Nice to have you on the show, Peter. You are a business executive and also a consultant, and you have a lot of expertise going on about continual improvement in the workplace. So I'd like to start my question from there. So why do you think continuous improvement is important in the workplace?
Well, first of all, nothing is perfect. Everything can be improved upon. Even if it's operating well, there's always little things that can be done that are improvements to what you're doing. As you had mentioned, the world moves on. Things continually change. Technology, particularly now AI is the big thing, and people will need to get more and more involved with AI. And if you don't, then the world will basically pass you by. You will become a dinosaur. So you need to stay up on the latest trends about what's happening. That doesn't mean that everything you've done up to that point is no good and you just throw it away and start over. There's always a basic foundation that's always going to be true, regardless of where we're at. But there are new things that get added, and we have to understand them, embrace them, and work them into what we're doing on a regular basis. And that a lot of that is through continuous improvement. Now, continuous improvement isn't the big things. Again, AI is a very big thing. And that's an innovation as opposed to a continuous improvement. But once you've instituted that into your organization, then you're going to run into issues. You're going to run into problems. Things aren't going to be smooth. And it's those little things that you do and your folks do on a regular basis in order to make them better, in order to.
Now, you've explained some of the challenges in continuous improvement. Now, how to think of it? Don't you think continuous improvement can be overwhelming sometimes?
Well, it can be overwhelming, but that's really up to you to not make it overwhelming. Again, it's the little things. If you do them on a regular basis and they become kind of a norm for you, a habit, if you want to call it, then it isn't overwhelming because you just do it because you get used to it and you know it's the right thing. And again, you try not to do the big things all the time. On occasion, you're going to do that. Let's say you're putting a new information system in or whatever the case may be. That's a big thing, but you don't do that all the time. Once you do it, then you work with it and you get good at it and so forth. And then maybe it's time to do the next big thing. But you don't just pile one on top of the other and overwhelm yourself, because then things can go awry, things can become difficult, and you got swamped, so to speak. Continuous improvement is doing a lot of little things. And we all do little things. You know, you're processing some paperwork and you find out a better way to do it. Well, good. All right. That saves you time, that saves you effort. It gives you some more time that you can spend to look at the next thing that could make a change in your organization or in your life. And you do that stuff. So really, it's up to you. If you want to get overwhelmed, then try to do too much at one time. If you want to make changes and improvements, do little things over a course of time, and you'll find out that it turns out to be a big deal at the end of that time. So it's really up to you. And if you're not sure about it, get somebody in who has expertise and has done it before and can help you to manage that stuff to keep you from overwhelming yourself and trying to do too much at one time.
All right. Now, at the end of the day, we come to realize that it's all about customer engagement. That is the sole drive of
Yes.
Continually improving yourself in your business.
Even with that, things change. Customers' wants change, their needs change, their requests on you to provide whether it's products or services or some combination change, and you've got to adapt to that. Not every customer is exactly the same. Some have specific needs that others don't, and you have to address those as well. You're not trying to treat everybody exactly the same. You're trying to give them the best service that you possibly can, and certainly the best products that you possibly can. And if that's not working, then you've got decisions to make. Is the customer being unreasonable, okay, and asking too much for you and not willing to pay for that additional? Or are they being very reasonable? And yeah, you've got to make some adaptations to how you're dealing with them and what's going on. And it may apply to other customers. You make an improvement with one and it kind of flows over to the next and the next and the next. So there are benefits of what somebody else asked for, and they, for whatever reason, didn't ask for it, but now they benefit from it. So absolutely, you need to keep your eye on your customer, but you also need to keep an eye on yourself. Okay, your organization will have different needs. You're going to be hiring millennial people who have a different work ethic than people my age. Okay, and you need to deal with that. There'll be more turnover of your workforce because millennials tend not to spend more than about 5 years on average in a particular workplace before they're moving on to something else for whatever the reason. They have a different requirement, when it comes to work. They look more at work-life balance, and only spending so much time at work, and then the rest of the time is their own to do whatever they want to do. And you've got to take that into account. The pay that you're going to have, the benefits that you're going to provide to them. Those are all internal things that really don't have anything to do with your customer. They may affect them based on what you decide and what you do, but they're not generated by the customer themselves. The customer has their whole set of needs, and then your business has needs on top of that you have to work with.
Personal post, I like us to journal planning because operational planning is just the daily actions we need to take to hit our strategic goals. Right. So how do we make operational planning success?
Well, first you have to start with an overall business strategic plan. Where do you want to be as a business over the course of the next 3, 5, maybe even 10 years? How much do you want to grow? How big do you want to get? Are you going to be in the same things in 5 years that you're in today, or they're going to be, and chances are good, there'll be additions to it and subtractions. You'll get rid of some things that don't work so well and add some things that have new possibilities to them. You've got to figure that all out first. Then once you have that and you've decided this is the way I want to go as an overall business, sales, marketing, revenue, profits, all that stuff. Now, what is it going to take for your organization in order to support that and in order to make that happen? That's where the operational side comes in. And operations could be in manufacturing. It could be, financial. If you're consulting, what kind of consultants are you going to need and skill levels and so forth? Geographically, are you going to stay in the same place wherever that is, or are you going to expand out to additional places? And what's it going to take then to support that? That's where the operational, and that's where I came in. I wasn't so much on the overall, I did when I had my own enterprise, when I had my own consulting organization, but when I worked for other folks, I wasn't part of that. I was told this is what we're going to do. Okay, now fill in the blanks about what it takes then in order to make that happen. In my case, it was how many operating facilities should we have? Should we be, producing the same goods in each one, or should we make some in this one and not and different things in others? Where should they be located? What new equipment do we need in? At what point will the facility require an expansion or maybe a relocation because it's not big enough to handle, the addition of the equipment that we're going to have and the inventories we're going to carry. Where should our warehousing be? Should it be in one place or in multiple places? And where should those multiple places be? And how are we going to set that up? What's the cost going to be of all this stuff? You need to lay that out because then the company needs to take that back and say, okay, based on that, here's how quickly we want to move or not move, and so forth. And maybe they're going to scale back some of their overall requirements if it's too expensive in order to meet the needs that they put out as far as the enterprise goes. So, the operational part becomes very important and they have to work together. And once you've got that strategy out, then you break it down on a year by year basis. Oh, because again, you're not going to do everything at one time. So what are you going to do in year one? And you put a business plan together that operates in year one and you see how things go. And if things change drastically one way or the other, you expanded much faster than you thought, or you didn't expand as quickly as you thought, what are you going to do in year two? And is it are you going to follow the same path, or do you have to make adaptations to that? If you grew much faster, it's a different game. All right. Because let's say that you were going to increase by 10% and you increased by 20. Well, and year two was you're going to, have that 20% increase. Well, you're already there. So now what are you going to do? Because you're ready at where you said you were going to be. So what are you going to do differently in year two? By year three, you're developing a whole new plan. Even though you develop a 5-year plan, your plan never lasts for 5 years. Things have changed one way or the other, and you need to adapt to those, okay, and come out with a new plan. So basically, you're developing a 5-year plan every 2 to 3 years at the average. And again, depending on how things progress, it may be sooner than that if it's a plus or a minus. So there's a lot of work to putting together a good operational plan to support what the company wants to do overall.
Thanks, Peter Christian, for sharing that thought with my audience. Let's look at your second book. You're an author of 2 books,
Yes.
amazing bestsellers. But I'd like us to talk about your second book, Influencers and the Influence and also the Influencers.
Yes.
So what do you think the organization is missing out?
I don't think that we tend to recognize the people that are there that are impacting how we think, how we act, okay, both on a positive and a negative side. Okay, we run across people of both ways, some who we say, I want to be like that. You're not going to be exactly like that because we're all individuals and we're not robots. And then there are people you go, oh, I don't agree with how that person is acting and treating others and so forth. And I don't want to be like that. I want to be the exact opposite. I want to be 180 degrees from them. And we develop over time, not just through the people that we deal with, but the instances that we run into, the influences, okay, the things that we run into, and the influencers, the people we run into who have an impact on us. And also they help. There are a number of people who help us. We sometimes fail to realize that, and we fail to appreciate it and to give them thanks for helping us. Okay, sometimes we asked for it, other times they just saw we were struggling and they reached out and they helped us. And I had a couple of people in my life, and I talk about that in my book, who had a tremendous impact on me and who helped me when I didn't request it. But they saw whatever they saw in me, okay, they liked it and they wanted to make me a better person. Okay, not because I was a terrible person, but they just thought with some good guidance, I could be the best that I could be. And when I realized that, I hope that I thanked them then, but I certainly did through the book because I named a number of those folks and gave them thanks for helping me to be where I am today. Uh, but I think if we recognize that at the time and we give them thanks, that's all they're looking for. They're not looking for any monetary reward or whatever. They just want the thanks that it was recognized and appreciated and it had an impact on us. Okay. Obviously, on the negative side, we don't go and thank them. Thank you very much for giving me that lesson. I don't want to be anything like you. So we don't get into that, but we just tuck that away. A lot of young people that I work with who are just getting started, either they're working on projects in school or they're getting ready to graduate and go into the working world. And I say to them, uh, recognize the people that you're working with, okay? Recognize the things that you like. And when you get to that place where you can have an impact, remember that and act that way. And similarly, as you're working your way along, when you find things that you do not like or agree with, catalog that. And again, when you get to that place, don't act like that person, okay? Because that's not right. That's you've already established that, but don't forget about it because sometimes people do. They say, "Oh, I would never be like that," and then they're exactly like that person. So, so learn from your experiences, catalog them, and become a good person. All right, basically, treat people well. Treat the people who work with you and for you well. Give them the respect that they deserve, give them the accolades that they deserve when they do something well. When they do something wrong, take them aside and talk to them about it. Don't make it a public thing, all right? And correct them. Say, you know, here's what went wrong, and here's what you need to do different, and support those folks. And again, you get a lot of appreciation for that. Sometimes they don't always tell you that, but you can see through their actions, through their attitudes, the work that they produce, that they understand where you're coming from, that they know you care about them, that you are supporting them, okay, and that they are going to give their best effort for you. I always told the people that worked for me, I need you, you do not need me. So you need to do the best that you can. I'm here just to manage and to, you know, to do whatever. But at the end of the day, it's what you do that really matters. And I'm on the hook for it. Okay. As much as you are, even though you did something, I take some of the credit for it, but I take a lot of the blame if it goes wrong because I allowed it to happen. So do the right thing. I had a boss who told me that. I'm going to give you lots of leeway to make decisions. He said, don't just don't mess up and make me look bad. And I always remembered that. And I had the same attitude with the people that I had working for me. Do the right thing. Don't mess up. Make us both look good.
Peter, do you have any exciting news to share with my audience? Perhaps a project in the pipeline you think it's going to be a benefit to my audience in the larger run?
Something that's happened in the past that was good or something that wasn't so good? Do you prefer?
Yeah, I'm talking about any exciting news you like to share with my audience. Perhaps you have any project in the pipeline you think it's going to be benefits to the audience.
Right now, my biggest projects are going to be this webinar series. In fact, I'm just prepping for the first one. It's going to be 2 or 3 days from now. Okay, and the first one's going to be on project management. Okay, and then that's followed up by operational planning, you know, stuff that we talked about. And then I'm going to get into a couple of sessions where I talk about my books and what that means to people. And then I'm going to get into capacity planning, and then I'm going to get into strategic planning. So, or not strategic planning, business, developing a business plan. So I think those are things that people could all, you know, benefit from. okay? Because we're always learning, as you had mentioned, we're always trying to move ahead and to be the best that we can and deal with changes. So there may be areas that you feel you could benefit from what I'm going to talk about. All right. And if so, get in touch with me and I can tell you how you can sign up for those webinars. There is a cost to it, but I think it's well worth your time, and certainly I will do my best to get information across to people. So I'd say that's the big thing that's happening right now. As far as actual work with companies, I don't have anything in the works right now. I look at different opportunities. God knows I keep getting hit with, things about people wanting me to join their company and do stuff, but I'm not at that point where I want to do that anymore. I want to just work on some things, at my pace and so forth. So nothing big from that standpoint right now.
Good to know. Thanks for sharing that with my audience,
Sure.
Peter, and I really appreciate that. I wish you, my audience really wish you best of luck in the projects that you embark upon now and also in the subsequent.
Thank you.
Sure. Do you have any parting word you'd like to share, and also social media handles or your website?
Always realize that you have something to learn. Okay, no matter how old you are and how experienced you are, there's new things that are happening, new ideas. Do not dismiss them. Listen to them and see where they fit in with how you're working and dealing with people. And realize that life is a lifelong learning experience. And then also make commitments. Okay, you say that you're going to do something, do it. Don't just keep putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, because otherwise that day never comes to make the changes that are necessary. So be committed to, once you find something new that you really think is good, do it. Don't put it off. Add it to whatever, make whatever changes you need to how you think and act and whatever the case may be, and then go from there. And I think if you do those things, you will do very, very well, not just in the business world, but in life in general. So that would be my word to you. I still am learning things. I learn things from my kids every day. Okay. I'm not the teacher anymore. I'm kind of the student now. So
That's the irony of life and also the beauty of life.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Sure. We like to have your website and your social media handles, if any.
If people need to get in touch with me, I am on LinkedIn. Okay, look for me, look for this gorgeous face. I have a website, phcpublications.com. And also you can email me at phchristian53@gmail.com. Any one of those three, you can contact me and say, I thought what you said was interesting, or I don't agree with some of the stuff you said. Whatever the case may be, it opens up the dialogue. Because just like I tell my students, you don't have to agree with everything I say. If you can improve upon it, go for it. Okay, because again, continuous improvement, there's always things that can change and can be done, and you find your way to do things. So we can start a dialogue about that, and who knows where that goes. So those are the three ways you can get in touch with me.
Yeah, I have Peter Christian, who is a business executive and also a consultant, share his thoughts and his expertise with my audience, talking about continual improvement in the workplace and also talking about operational strategic planning also in the workplace, how we can really get it right. Thank once again, Peter Christian, for sharing your talk with my audience. I wish you best of luck. Now, if you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of Library Lift by Omobola Stephen, you can check online and search for Library Lift by Omobola Stephen on any cross promotion platforms or distribution platforms you bump into. And do have a great time as you listen to expert and professionals share their insight, disruptive mindset conversations on topics on the personal development and on the self-improvement. And I guarantee you're going to have a transformative mind shift as you listen to this important information being shared with my expert and professionals across the globe. Till I come your way, I need you always to stay safe. This is Omobola Stephen. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye all.